Everyone, it's Friday evening, about 5 o'clock here in Sabang. Cherry and Michelle out on our one of our many evening hikes, Port of Princess Palawan, the Barangay Kabayagang, here on the second beach front, which is pretty much usually deserted. There's 0 to 6 people usually. Most people stay on the other beach, and it's not very crowded either. It's probably 12 to 30 people typically, if that. So today, this morning was on the 11th of last month was our arrival here in Sabang, so our 1-month anniversary today. So really not doing too much celebration, just doing the usual. There's Michelle, she's gonna run and hide. Bought a couple, let's see what we buy, swim goggles. They were from China, and like 100 peso, which is about 200 bucks, but they didn't work too good. So we, next day we bought Mr. Spalding there, I call it. It's not Spalding, it's also made in China, but much better. I think that's the thing to buy. You can probably shoot a little basketball with it if you need it, and volleyball is what it's made for, is volleyball. Probably we've done soccer, volleyball, shot some hoops with it. Throw it in the water, great to play in the water, so it floats really well, and you can put it under your arm or between your legs and float with it. So swimming device. Although I'd be very careful if you truly can't swim and you got in deep water, you'd run into trouble if you let go. So wouldn't advise that. There's a little pool she's looking at during high tide. It gets some water splashed up there. Usually find some crabs or some fish of some sort, little minnows or something. But sand's real silky here, very fine, very hard packed here on the beach. Try not to drop the phone because it's heavy. So there's my foot. I'm about 200 pounds, and you can see I barely make a dent on it. When you bounce the ball, it bounces very easily on the sand here, because this is very low tide. Normally the water can go about halfway up the beach here, so half of it's underwater typically. There's the sun getting ready to go over the mountain and set. Probably got about an hour and a half before sunset. A little faster because it's going to go behind that mountain and has to go below the horizon, so you can see it's got a ways to go to the horizon, but not far to go to the mountain. So that's the big news today, our anniversary. So to Palawan, not to the Philippines, but kind of special because this is what I've thought about for probably 8 to 10, 12 years now. I thought, where would I want to go in the Philippines? And I heard about Palawan, and I thought, if I could ever get there or afford that, or because it's one of the more remote islands of the bigger islands, so it kind of sits out by itself away from all the other islands. There's quite a bit around here, but it's one of the ones that set out, I think, 300 to 500 miles from, I think, anything else, pretty much. It's more over towards, I think, Indonesia. Somebody can correct me or help me out if they would like, so I'm no geography expert. It was quite beautiful. The waves have been very light today. They can be 4 or 5 times bigger, 5 or 6 feet high at times. But they're running about 12 to 24 inches at best, I would say. So that's what's been going on. If you got any questions or comments or something else you want to see, I'm just seeing the usual, which is pretty darn nice. So I think this is cool how the sand gets in all the cracks and on the edges, kind of like a painting, like a lava. It's all lava rock as far as I know. Again, somebody can correct me, because I believe the whole island, all the Philippine islands were made from volcanic activity over the thousands and thousands of years. So I find the rocks pretty fascinating when you look at them. There's some like gray, maybe a little bit from the saltwater potential, to some brown and reddish brown, the kind of black. Looks kind of like charcoal. Some of it's really sharp. This gets scoured by the waves, so it's relatively smooth, but on top where it doesn't get hit by the waves, it's really jagged. So if you fell or stumbled, it would cut you up pretty good. So very jungly here. Some of the trees are probably 100, 150 feet high in the woods, so you hear like monkeys. We've seen monkeys back in there. And here's a close-up of the zip line trail, so I kind of flash on it here, get a little close-up view. So you're coming down the beach. This is where you go up into the mountain, into the woods, and follow the trail for about a half a kilometer or so to the zip line where they launch you. And I don't know if you can see it very well. Again, I'll try to zoom in. But there's the wire kind of in the middle of the stream. Comes out of the hillside, 800 meters long, they say. Lower and lower, you're about 10, 5, 6 meters, 5 meters or something over the water. And you go all the way over there. It's hard to see because the sun will pass the boats to that mound, rock mound, and that's where you they take you in. And then when you come here, you walk along the beach here. Get back out of here. So, pretty cool. If you come to Sabang, I would definitely recommend checking it out. If the tide's not up and you see people at the end place there, because that's the first place you'll see, because you never hardly ever see the place up in the mountains. So if you see people working there, holler over and ask, but they're likely open if there's somebody there. So it varies, depends on people and weather and tide conditions. So I wouldn't plan a trip just to, unless you got inside information that they're definitely going to be open. So, because it's very irregular, like a lot of things in the Philippines. Somebody doesn't want to open today, then it doesn't get open. I went to a bank, I think it was my land bank, and it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or late morning, and went up the door. The guards were there, and I said, yeah, I didn't want you check in my account and stuff, and they go, closed, sir. I'm like, okay. Closed all day till the next day. So, but that's part of the Philippines you're gonna have to get used to. People are, it's like everyone I've spoke with pretty much. I'm sure it's not everybody, but it's a large percentage of the population. It's always next day, later, and which that means that it's probably not going to happen, maybe ever, much less next day or later in the day. So anytime it says we meet you later, I pay you next day, not happening. That's what they should be saying is, I'm not paying you, I'm not meeting you, see you when I see you. Of course, when they see you, they're very hospitable and friendly, but until there, it's no intention, it's just culture. It's what Michelle tells me all the time. She says it's just Philippine culture. Everybody says it, everybody does it. So, and I found that to be pretty much true. That's why I told people when I first come, I said, now if I'm offensive, because Americans are pretty upfront, let's get it done now, I want it now, and let's get her done. And which can be seen as offensive here, you know, aggressive behavior or language or loud language. So it can be quite frustrating for the foreigner in that regard. Other than that, if you learn to relax and flow with things, just say not going to happen today and get up and regroup and do it again tomorrow, then that's the best fit for the Philippines. So yeah, I think I've seen 2 people on the beach when we walked down here, so it's probably about a half a kilometer or so long. Would be my guesstimate, maybe a little bit more. Well, that's my time, my one and only video at the moment today, so still got time to see something else if I see something interesting. So we're gonna enjoy the evening here before sunset. We've got at least another hour. So like I said, it's 5:30 right now. That's the open ocean as far as the eye can see. Palawan goes up that way. It's a long island. I think it's like 200 and some miles long, 250 or something. But relatively narrow. I think it's some places less than 50 miles or 20 to 30 to 50 miles in places. Very small. And as you come across most of the island, there's mountains on one end or the other like that, so which are pretty tall. They're about 4,000 to 6,000 feet high. They form their own weather front. Usually there's clouds hitting it or gather around it. A lot of times, especially in the evening. Pretty neat looking. Can't show you the ones because I'm standing too close, but there's the towering forest. That's probably 125, 150 feet up at least from the ground to the top of the trees there. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and helps out. I encourage you to do that for any channel because it really helps out people. Usually less than about 15%. Anywhere from 6 to 15 to at best 20%. Like and subscribe to the channel, make comments. I think I've got 330,000 views and only 1,500 subscribers and not many likes. So usually I average maybe 4 to 6 likes per video. So don't forget to do that because it doesn't cost a nickel and takes about 30 seconds or less to make a comment and press the button. Anything you do is much appreciated by everybody. Thanks for watching. That's it from Terry and Michelle. Friday night, the 11th, our anniversary. So, all right, that's it. Thank you.